Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm, of course, Paul Glasgow here. A lot of interesting stuff happening in D.C. over the last 3 weeks. A lot. And not even every day, that's probably not even accurate to say that, every hour, likely every half hour, something is happening that's notable. Well, it seems like Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, might not be quite so truthful whenever she's actually talking to people who are under oath. Thank God she doesn't find herself under oath, and notice they never do. But if she did, she'd probably go to prison if anybody actually enforced that. First, guys, go check out my friends, Attorneys on Retainer. I've told you guys before, don't trust an insurance company if you do carry a firearm on your side every single day for self-protection. Trust actual attorneys. That's what you get with Attorneys on Retainer. Whenever you call, you do not get Bob from India. You get an actual attorney. And that's a big deal because whenever your future is on the line because you had to draw your self-defense firearm, it's very important you talk to the right person to keep you, hopefully, out of jail. Sign up now with my friends over at Attorneys on Retainer for optimum protection in the unlikely event you have to draw your carry firearm. Use my code FTATF. Again, FTATF is my code, and you will receive $50 off of your individual sign-up fee or $25 off of your family plan sign-up fee. Attorneys on Retainer. Check them out. So Elizabeth Warren last week was grilling RFK, who was nominated and still continues to be because he hasn't been confirmed yet, for Department of Health or whatever the directorship is over the HHS. It's kind of funny how many cases, and we're seeing a lot of it with the whole USAID stuff and the Treasury Department being audited right now, but it's funny how these people out themselves with their own belligerence, if you will, whenever they get upset about a key topic. It's like they're not self-aware. They don't realize that whenever they get upset about something that would seem trivial to those of us not doing anything wrong, that it's pointing the finger right at them. Here's an exchange from last week. I'm going to get to what's currently happening right now here in a second, but here's the exchange last week that kind of started this whole dust up between RFK and Pocahontas.
Will you commit that when you leave this job, you will not accept compensation from a drug company, a medical device company, a hospital system, or a health insurer for at least 4 years, including as a lobbyist or a board member?
Can you just repeat the last part of the question? Can I commit
You're
to
not going to take money from drug companies in any way, shape, or form.
Who? Me?
Yes, you.
Oh. Yeah, I'm happy to commit to that.
Okay, good. That's what I figured. I said it's an easy question to start with. And I think you're right on this question.
I don't think any of them want to give me money, by the way.
So you see where she's going with that right now. This is the beginning of her build up to that. Which is really crazy because they all take money from these people and they can influence that too. She's saying the HHS guy she's a sitting senator. That's more influence than the HHS. But anyway, she's trying to get RFK to commit under oath. Remember, this is under oath. This may not be necessarily for this hearing that she's asking these questions. This is because she wants to be able to use this under oath testimony by RFK down the road. So you might be thinking, what a silly question for her to be asking. She's asking this because it's being captured under oath. So this could be used against RFK if he deviates the slightest. That's why they always tell you when you're talking to law enforcement, FBI, be careful what you say, because they're trying to take something that is being stated as an absolute or something that you're putting on record to use against you so that they can say, how many times have you heard these charges? He lied to FBI. Well, that charge could very easily be in RFK's case. Can you commit to, over the next 4 years or 4 years after you're out of office, not receiving anything from a pharmaceutical company? If he says, yes, I commit to that, and this might seem trivial, this might seem like a stretch, but is an absolute fact and will be submissible in court. If this guy, RFK, were to get a rebate from a pharmaceutical company for an overcharge or something like that, it doesn't even have to be litigation or a bribe like Elizabeth Warren gets. If he takes that money and cashes that check from that pharmaceutical company, guess what he just did? I don't care what condition, She didn't say there were exemptions in certain conditions. She said, would you commit to not taking any money? If he cashed a rebate check from a pharmaceutical company, technically he could be charged with lying under oath. Yes, it is that stupid and silly, but that's absolutely why these people put up these types of questions under oath to try to trap guys like this. So now the questioning you're about to see is going to be along the lines of RFK in the past, what he's done. He's an attorney. He's got a firm. And what he has done, he has tried to sue, or not tried to, he's been successful in many cases, of suing pharmaceutical companies based on the lies of their products. Whenever they falsify information to try to market or promote their products, he has sued them. He's essentially sued these companies into being more honest, or at least the attempt to be more honest, to appear more honest. So she is going to grill him based on those prior lawsuits that he has made against these pharmaceutical companies. And again, it's for the safety of America that he's made these lawsuits. But now she's going to grill them based on that, or grill him based on that.
There's a lot of ways that you can influence those future lawsuits and pending lawsuits while you are Secretary of HHS. And I'm asking you to commit right now that you will not take a financial stake in every one of those lawsuits, so that what you do as Secretary will also benefit you financially down the line.
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You have said
You're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
She was absolutely trying to paint him into a corner. She was trying to get him to commit, again, under oath, to not ever suing, meaning his law firm also. Because remember, it's his law firm. So the buck stops here kind of thing. Even if he were confirmed as the head of the HHS, if his firm were to get a case and sue one of these pharmaceutical companies while he were in office, because of the dotted line to him, because he's the owner of the firm, he would be violating his claim under oath to her that he would not sue any of those. She was absolutely trying to corner him in that. You might be thinking, well, that might be a stretch also. Why would that be a stretch? Well, maybe she's receiving money from pharmaceutical companies. Maybe she's doing the bidding under oath here to try to trap the future HHS guy, to get him to commit to something that protects people who are putting money in her pocket. Well, that accusation came out and she blew up and got all mad about that. How dare you accuse me of I've never taken money. Well, Laura Loomer actually has a video that came out just yesterday that has Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas here, lying about what she got grilled about, and then came to her own defense in the newspapers by saying, I never took money from any of these people. You know, he's accusing me of taking money from pharmaceuticals. I never took money. Notice the word she uses. This is very important because these people are very clear on their wording when they have denials. Notice what she says, who she's not taking money from these pharmaceutical companies.
Senator Warren, is your acceptance of $5.2 million from Big Pharma since 2020 the reason why you don't want RFK Jr. suing Big Pharma? Is that why?
Check my website. I don't take contributions from Big Pharma executives. I don't take any corporate PAC money. And you and your allies already know that.
Okay, you notice what she said. She was very specific. She didn't say, I don't take any money from any Big Pharma, right? You did notice that, right? She was very specific who she said she doesn't take money from. Big Pharma executives and PAC money associated. So Big Pharma executives is her claim. So you would think you wouldn't see very big numbers from pharmaceuticals if you looked into it. Well, I think old Pocahontas here might need to change her Native American name from Pocahontas to maybe Chief Lie Like a Rug, because she's lying like a rug right now. A little bit of backstory here before I get into her lies. Justice Department announces global resolution of criminal and civil investigations with opioid manufacturer Purdue Pharma and civil settlement with members of the Sackler family. Notice I pulled this directly from the U.S. Department of Justice's archives. So this is from a government website. This is not some, quote, right-leaning website. Yeah, this is the federal government here. They go on to discuss how Purdue Pharma has agreed to plead guilty in federal court in New Jersey to 3-count felony information, charging it with 1 count of dual object conspiracy to defraud the United States and to violate the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, and 2 counts of conspiracy to violate the federal anti-kickback statute. The criminal resolution includes the largest penalty ever levied against a pharmaceutical manufacturer, including a criminal fine of $3.5 billion. And let me run here real quick because I don't want to bore you on all of this. So as part of the plea, Purdue Pharma will admit that from May 2007 through 2017, they conspired to defraud the United States by impeding the lawful function of the DEA by representing to the DEA that Purdue maintained an effective anti-diversion program, when in fact Purdue continued to market its opioid products to more than 100 healthcare providers whom the company had good reason to believe were diverting opioids and reporting misleading information to DEA and boost Purdue's manufacturing quotas. You guys probably remember this. There was actually, I think during COVID, there was a pretty good documentary that came out about the opioid crisis. And of course, Purdue Pharma was misrepresenting their product. They were lying about their product. They were saying really and incorrectly, because they had information that came out to show that they knew better, that their product was not addictive, not habit forming or anything like that. Well, all that information was collected and used against them. And of course, Big Pharma got sued big time, at least as far as Purdue Pharma goes. You have to understand at this point who owns Purdue Pharma. Well, the Sackler family is who owned Purdue Pharma. Sackler family, all you got to do is a quick Google search of that, and you're going to find tons of information about various members of the Sackler family. Pretty much everything you Google and see that uses the word Sackler for a last name, they're all the same family. It's a massive family, a old money family, if you will, from way back. And they've been involved in the pharmaceutical industry, I believe, maybe Xanax. I mean, they go that far back. They go back to the, remember your mom and your aunt or your friend's mom used to say, I got to take my nerve pill. That far back. That's when the Sackler family had Purdue Pharma and they were making all these drugs. Well, of course, they are the creator of the whole opioid thing. And again, they allowed that product to be sold, mislabeled, knowing that it was massively habit forming. And they did nothing about it, and they got their hand slapped as a result of it. Well, I wanted to make sure I was fair, so I grabbed a left-leaning headline here from New York Times. Beverly Sackler, who is one of the main members of the Sackler family, Purdue Pharma, 95, dies, philanthropist and Purdue Pharma director. Miss Sackler was the matriarch of the company whose drug OxyContin has been blamed for the opioid epidemic. Notice her title, director. Would you say that's an executive? Would you say that? Chief Lie Like a Rug, Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, stated that she had never and does not receive money from any Big Pharma executives. Remember, she was very careful to word that.
I don't take contributions from Big Pharma executives.
Maybe she wasn't careful enough. Beverly Sackler, the director of Purdue Pharma, as you can see right here on Open Secrets, made many. This is just one page of screenshots from Beverly Sackler. You notice Elizabeth Sackler is in there too, also of the same Sackler family with Purdue Pharma. She actually, Elizabeth worked for the Sackler Foundation as an executive, which that's not a pharmaceutical company, but is certainly a pharmaceutical family. But let's ignore Elizabeth Sackler. Let's look at Beverly. Beverly, again, was the director of Purdue Pharma. And again, this is one-page screenshot of the money that went to Elizabeth Warren for Massachusetts during her campaigns over the years. So Chief Lie Like a Rug was lying like a rug when she again said this.
I don't take contributions from Big Pharma executives.
Now, once there's a small lie that you uncover, there's always bigger lies, right? I mean, you scratch the surface and everything else. It's kind of like kicking an anthill, right? And that's pretty much what Elon Musk and everybody else is doing right now, kicking anthills, picking up stones, and all the bugs go running. Well, I dug a little bit deeper, not too deep, took me about an hour to find this, but if you notice right here, top industries federal election data for Elizabeth Warren just during the 2020 cycle. Her contributions from health professionals, $2.3 million. Now, you might be thinking that could be anybody, right? Doesn't necessarily mean big pharma. It could be a doctor. It could be hospitals. And you would be right. I have to give credit where credit is due. I don't ever want to look like I'm misleading anybody, so I drilled down a little bit deeper and found this from the same election cycle in 2020. Look at the top contributors, and this is really funny because Bernie Sanders is in there too, and he lied about it also when he was talking to RFK. Top 20 member recipients of money from pharmaceutical/health products. So we are specific now to pharmaceutical companies, not just the health industry, the pharmaceutical industry. And Elizabeth Warren in 1 year raked in $822,000, close to $1 million from Big Pharma. So she's lying about taking money from Big Pharma executives, and she's making it sound like by floating that lie.
I don't take contributions from Big Pharma executives.
That's her way of trying to mind F you into thinking that she doesn't take money from any Big Pharma. So both of those are lies. The diversion that she doesn't take money from Big Pharma is a lie because in 1 year she got $822 million. And the lie that she doesn't take it from the executives was also debunked. Maybe not the numbers were quite as big from the actual executive, but it's still a lie. And they're only restricted from individual contributions. They're restricted to only be able to give a certain amount. Otherwise, those amounts would have been a lot higher from the Sackler family, more specifically Beverly Sackler. Now, let me play this clip one more time for you.
Will you commit that when you leave this job, you will not accept compensation from a drug company, a medical device company, a hospital system, or a health insurer for at least 4 years, including as a lobbyist or a board member?
These people don't want you and I or anyone else involved in their little grift. They have their little scheme, and it's legal because Congress allows it to be legal. How cool that they police themselves. They don't want anybody else in on their little scam. They can intimidate, they can bully, they can take bribe money, they just call it something else. They do all these things to screw people over and to take money and to make money and to get richer. Remember, I said yesterday, and I say this often, they go into Congress making $174,000 a year. They leave out of there multimillionaires. This is how. They lie about this kind of stuff, and they're jealous. They feel like whenever they get on that hill, there's only 535 members of Congress and Senate. When they get those 535 members in there, they don't want anybody else having a piece of their cake. They want to be the only ones who can insider trade. They want to be the only one who can legally accept bribes. And Elizabeth Warren is mad because somebody else might get a slice of the pie.
Will you commit that when you leave this job, you will not accept compensation from a drug company, a medical device company, a hospital system, or a health insurer for at least 4 years, including as a lobbyist or a board member?
These are all things that she currently does. She is a sitting senator. And all these things that she's acting like are so bad that she's trying to prevent RFK from getting a cut from, she is currently, right now, getting checks written to her by those very same people that she pretends to demonize while talking to RFK, trying to make it sound like she's standing up for the people. She's benefiting from every single thing that she's trying to keep RFK from benefiting. And remember, she ain't talking about while he's HHS director. She's asking him to remove himself from that potential money to be made as a lobbyist, which shouldn't be, but it's legal, for 4 years after he would leave office. So she's basically saying, I don't want you to have my scam. I don't want you to have my take. I don't want you to have the benefits that I have as a sitting senator, and even once I leave, because there is no such restriction on any member of government, senator, congressperson, or anything like that whenever they leave office. In fact, most of them go directly into the lobbying industry. She's simply mad because RFK might get a cut like she's getting a cut. She doesn't want him to have the same benefits that she has benefited from while she's been in office, to the tune of millions of dollars over time from these same people that she pretends to demonize. She is doing the work of Big Pharma when she gets up there and does this. Now, the thing I would love to see, and we will never see it in our lifetime, you notice how when they're asking the questions, they know to ask these setup questions to get these people in trouble because they're under oath. You know who's not under oath during these hearings? These senators asking these questions. Notice at the beginning of one of these confirmation hearings, the only person that has to raise their hand and swear an oath is the person who is actually answering the questions, the interviewee. The interviewers are not under oath at that point. Understand that. They can say whatever they want. They can lie while the interviewee is under oath because it doesn't apply to them. Notice how we never get these people under oath and ask them these questions like this? Because you know why? They're smarter than that. They may look stupid, but they're way too smart to find themselves under oath because they would all incriminate themselves if the right people were asking the questions.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. He's so horrible.